Got it. Perfect. Thank you so much, Poonan, for the introduction and having me here today. So, as Poonan mentioned, my name is Rochelle, and I am the Community Partnership Manager at the London Screen Academy, also known as LSA. And to give a quick snapshot before I open up my presentation, the London Screen Academy is a free to attend state-funded sixth form academy for 16 to 18-year-olds that are interested in the world of film and TV. So we aim to upskill and give access to our students into the film and TV industry. And that's looking at careers behind the camera. So understanding what a director does, a producer, but also getting students to be aware and familiar with other roles, such as being a locations manager, gaffer, being a rigger, and many, many more. And I'm going to go through a couple of job roles today and then go into a couple in more detail as well. So yeah, the aim of the session, I'm going to do a bit of a career session in careers behind the camera and to give you a bit more information about LSA as our sixth form and getting to understand our level 3 offer, but also our level 4 offer, which some of you guys might be interested in. But also just giving you a chance to answer any questions that's related to the film and TV industry and how to get in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen now with you all, and then I will start shortly. Voila, right, okay, it's loading on my end, but you should all be able to see my screen now. So yeah, this session, as mentioned earlier, it's going to be all about careers and skills in the film and TV industry. So just to say a bit more about LSA, we are heavily rooted in industry, and that's because we've been set up by the makers of Harry Potter, James Bond, Top Boy, Baby Driver, Bridget Jones's Diary, Yesterday, and many, many more. And like I mentioned earlier, it's all about giving our students that access into the film and TV industry, but also fulfilling the demands in the industry to diversify the industry and also the skills gaps that's needed, because the industry needs to change and be a bit more representative of the London that we know. But also there are loads of jobs that's needed to work in the film and TV industry where we just don't have enough people, for the likes of being a production manager, from production accounting to locations manager. We just don't have enough. And we're all about upskilling and training our young people so they're ready to fill those roles, but also to be an entrepreneur and ready to work in film and TV. So I'm just going to quickly play a video now. Bear with me, should be able to have with sound. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and share it again just to make sure I've enabled the sound feature, and I have. Perfect. So we're going to watch a short video now where we get to see our current alumni and also our LSA Year 13 students in various different roles as they've made this short little clip for us. And the aim of this clip was made was to allow young people to see what it entails to be a costume designer, to be a writer and director, and just demonstrating their knowledge in these specific areas. So I'm just going to press play now.
So, do you want to take a look before you take it?
What was that?
And cut. I was just thinking about this last line. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna get it changed.
This hasn't gone well.
This has not gone well.
Hey, what do you think of this shot?
Yeah, the blue jacket's just not working. I'm gonna get it changed.
I think they wanted to try a leather jacket.
Yeah, I like that.
Good. Yeah, okay. We need to move day 2 to day 4. No, day 2 to day 4.
Nudge the sign over a little. Yeah, that looks good.
Can we dim that lamp over there? That looks great. Okay, camera ready.
Down, quiet.
This hasn't gone well.
There we go. So from that video, just give you a bit of insight in terms of what we do at LSA. And I can tell you now, as you can remember, Dylan, who was a producer, he's now currently working on the new film called Wonka. And we also had Iman, who was a camera trainee for the new film called Argyle as well. So there's just 2 students I want to pull out from there. And it's because once they've left LSA, they've actually gone into work into industry straight away. So at the age of 18, they managed to make their mark and work on set, which is incredible. And that's what we aim to achieve at LSA, to give young people those next steps. So before I do that, I want to tell you a bit more about the screen industries and what that looks like. So the screen industries, which includes film and TV, animation, VFX, and games. But specifically, we're going to look at the creative industries and film and TV. So the creative industries employ over 2 million people in the UK. But then it's projected to create an additional 1 million jobs by 2030. And if anything, that's going to increase even more, just due to the fact that we experienced lockdown and there's a lot of people wanting to make content. But also there's a wide range of different streams. So it's not just terrestrial telly where you've got BBC, ITV, Channel 5, Channel 4. You've got the likes of Netflix, Apple TV, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and I'm sure there's a few other content platforms out there that's going to want to stream new content. So we're going to need a lot more people working in those fields. Now, the screen industries, including film and TV, are worth £14.4 billion, and the total turnover of the screen industries is £37 billion. So that is huge. And one thing to note as well is that it contributes to our UK economy. So we have the infrastructure within the UK to produce such a wide range of film and TV shows, but also it allows other people, other production companies from other countries to come in and use the UK and use our infrastructure for their own films. And it's actually incredible to see what type of films that we actually get in, from the likes of looking at Black Widow, looking at James Bond, looking at also at Game of Thrones. So there's a few productions that we can talk about which are actually filmed in the UK, and that contributes to the UK economy. Now, going back on to what I mentioned about lockdown. So as you know, during the first lockdown, we didn't have it. TV kind of stopped. So we didn't have EastEnders. That wasn't on Coronation Street. We ended up watching reruns. However, when it came to the second and third lockdown, we were able to find a way to be safe on set. We was able to put procedures in place so productions could still get on running and to ensure the safety of everyone. And that's because our government understood how vital it was for us as an industry to be able to get up and running again. And also to mention, there are a range of jobs working in the industry. So each role plays an integral part into development, into the production, the making of it, but also looking at the sales and distribution of a film and TV production. So yeah, this is just a snapshot, really, essentially, that the industry is growing, it's booming. There's so many people that are working in it, and it's projected to grow again. It contributes to the UK economy, and we were able to find ways to adapt and be quick to work in the industry again. So just to talk about skills. So the roles and skills needed in film and TV. So as mentioned earlier, there are various types of roles needed in the industry, and that there's only one director, but you get a multitude of other roles working in the screen industries. And that can simply just due to the fact that on a feature film, you can have over 250 other jobs that's working on set. And it requires a wide range of skills and subject knowledge as well. So you don't have to, creative arts is not a specific subject or a skill that you need to have. So you don't necessarily always need to be good at drawing or be really creative, because it requires skills from being able to be analytical, having that attention to detail. So if he was a script supervisor, being able to understand what's on script and ensure that there is consistency to what's on set. You're looking at communication. You're working in a big team of people, so being able to communicate, and that's looking at from scheduling, making sure people are there on time, which then goes on to being a team player. That's a really important skill, and being reliable. Then plus you have the technical skills as well, which is really good to have if you're interested in going down the technical pathway or post-production. So, you know, having that camera, editing, and sound skills and knowledge. As well as logistical thinking and problem solving, because there could be some cases on set where problems arise and you need to find a way how to get around it. What is it that you need to put in place? For example, it could be that someone is running late. So what are you going to choose to film instead of that particular actor that's not there? Or looking at catering. So there's always problems that always pop up, and it's understanding what is the best way of solving them. So once again, you don't need to have a creative arts background to work in the industry. If you have skills such as what's on the screen or more, those are just, they are super vital. But also your own background and interests. That's super, super important as well, because if you're looking at documentary and if you're really good and interested in skateboarding, there's expertise and knowledge that's needed there. So it's a wide range of skill set that is needed to work in the film and TV industry. Right, so I'm just going to show you now the types of departments that you could get on a film or TV production. So we've got the development, which is where we have the screenwriter, we have the producer and the director. They've all come together to think about, you know, how they're going to be able to produce, how they're going to finance the film, and what is the vision. Then we've also got the production department, which kind of leads from the development. So if that idea has been greenlit, how are we going to find crew members, and how are we going to make sure that we can able to shoot the film, and making sure it's on time. Then we've got to think about the art department. So the art department is usually the biggest department that's in the industry. And that's that allows that could be costume, that would be hair and makeup. Then we also be looking at set design, prop making, and then we've got the costume department as well. And then we've got sound where it could be catching sound on set with a boom operator, but also looking at Foley sound as well. So that sound that's used in post-production. And then you've got post-production. So that's once you've got the raw footage taken off the camera, you'll be able to put it on the timeline and understanding what is that story that you want to make. How are you creating it through post-production? What effects that you want to add or animation you want to add to your film and TV production. So those are just a few of the departments as well. I'm missing out distribution, and distribution is all about the sales and marketing. So how is it that you're going to get your film out there to the audience, and what markets you want to be at, what festivals you want to get your films in front of. So these are just a few examples of the departments that's needed in industry. And here are just a few roles I thought I'd just pick out today. And as mentioned, you can have over 250 other jobs. So these are just a few. From a talent manager that's dealing with the talent, you've got a rigger that's looking at animation and understanding how an animated object is moving. So if you've got an animated man moving, what does it look like? How are they moving their arms? How are they moving their legs? You've got an editor, you've got a question producer. So if you guys watch The Chase or any other question related shows, there is someone that's going out there and think about the questions that they're going to ask the contestants. You've got a researcher who's doing their research into a production that's coming up and looking into talent as well. We also got a music editor, an art director, a grip, a locations manager. So those are just a few roles that's needed in industry, and it's constantly growing because it is a sector which is thriving and there's loads of skills gaps in these places. So I thought I wanted to quickly do a little run through now over a few roles that's is needed, where it's a bit of shortages, but also the entry level role into a specific department. So we're going to go in with the runner role. So a runner is usually entry level role to work in various departments. And the production runner is constantly on their feet to support the production team. And it may involve copying call sheets, scripts, health and safety notices, and just being there all round for the team and provide support. And it's a really good entry level role to be able to see how the different departments work. So skills may require such as multitasking, being able to work in a team, communication, as you may be getting different orders from different people, being adaptable, as you may have to drop something off the hat and do something completely different, using your initiative. And that kind of goes back to the problem solving skills that I mentioned earlier. There's a problem, how are we going to solve it? Then also being reliable, because as a runner, people are going to rely on you. So having that skill, having that mentality to be reliable. So yeah, that is what an entry level person would do if they decided to be a runner. And that's not the only entry level role. You may want to go in as a receptionist, be a logger, being an assistant. These are just a few entry level roles to get working in film and TV. Now I've decided to choose locations manager. I chose a locations manager because usually not many people know what that role is, and it's usually the hidden role, but it's so important and so impactful for the look and feel for a film and TV show. So the location manager will go out and scout to find the best location for a particular TV or film to be shot in. So it may be looking at houses, if it's going to be like a drama, for example, and being able to negotiate to find the best possible price, working with the homeowner, but also looking at the space as well and premises. It will also involve taking photos as well, being able to work with the director to find the vision. So those are just a few examples of responsibilities, and here are the skills that may be needed. So you'll need to have really good opportunity to research and sourcing locations. That's really important as a locations manager. Being able to take photography as well and looking at it from different viewpoints and different perspectives. That's really important when you decide to pitch a location to the director. You've got negotiation skills, organization, and communication. So that's really essential for a locations manager. Plus the role could be expanded as well in terms of what it does. And what's really cool about locations manager is that sometimes if it's being shot in a different country, you might not have the right jurisdiction. So it's being able to find another country where you're like, okay, we can shoot here because it has similar features. So being able to be quick on your feet and being able to solve problems as well. So next up I want to talk about is concept artists. So I'm going to do a deep dive into that. And that's a really good way of getting into animation. And essentially it's the first ideas that are needed for an animation show. So it involves drawing and being the first kind of sketch types for people to then reference. And it's a really good way to be able to collaborate with other designers as well, so concept artists. And to note, there isn't many concept artists, and it kind of goes back to the mention of not many people know how to draw, which is so important when it comes to being a concept artist. It's a skill that's really needed. So just going back onto skills, so drawing is super important, and I recommend if anyone is interested in concept art or being a concept artist, draw anything, wherever, whenever you can. It's just a great way to constantly practice your talent. Once again, we've got communication, because you'll be showing your sketches, also working with other people and discussing whether it's a good fit, if it's not. Creativity, so being able to think outside of the box as well. Being able to enjoy art and having a good knowledge of animation. So if you're going to create a concept, you kind of understand how it may move, if it's 2D or 3D, or if it's going to be hand drawn, just having that understanding and knowledge of animation. So real quickly, now I want to tell you guys how you can start. So if you're interested in working in the screen industries and film and TV and you want to get going, I recommend is that do your research. So there's loads of information out there about roles in the industry, and there's a website called Screen Skills. That's just one website that you can have a look at that have a whole load of roles that I presented to you today, but loads and loads of detail. They also have lists of training that you can do, some of which are free or some of which you can actually get a bursary to do, as well as that learning how to drive is a really important skill, and they offer a bursary to help with driving costs when it comes to driving tests, as well as they offer a trainee scheme as well, to help support you on that journey. So that's Screen Skills. I also recommend read the credits. So, if you're coming to the end of that film you watched on Netflix, or you've been at the cinema and you're like, right, the credits are up, I say stay and watch it all, because that gives you a really good opportunity to find out who's worked on where. Then being able to have a look on IMDb after, once you've looked at the credits, and finding exactly that person you want to reach out to, or if you want to find out a bit more about their journey into film and TV. So if you're looking for jobs as well, you've got the Facebook groups and Instagram. If you guys are on Facebook, some of you might not be, but I recommend it, especially looking for film and TVs. There's a few groups out there where they're looking for runner roles or working in locations, or just those entry-level roles where they advertise. Going back onto courses, if you can, it's a great opportunity to do a free course, because you get to gain some skills, but also meet other people that are interested in working in the industry, and that builds your network. And having that network of people that want to work in film and TV, when it comes to that opportunity coming up, they may be able to recommend you. And that kind of goes back into networking events as well. If you do find networking events, I recommend attending. And if it's, later for film and TV, but also for other sectors as well, it's really important to build on those networks and the people that you may know. And also being proactive and starting work on your own projects as well. So being proactive, going out there, shooting something small, something big, being able to build on your portfolio, that's really important as well, because employers will be really excited to know what you've kind of done in your own time. So I've talked to you about the roles, the skills that's needed, and give you some few hints and tips. But I thought I'd bring it back to LSA now, just in case if you know any of young people that may be interested in doing the level 3 offer. So if you're 16 to 17 to study with us at LSA, I'm going to talk through that. But we do have a level 4 offer that's open for anyone who's 18 plus. So just talking about the industry offer at LSA and what we do. So the industry at LSA our curriculum, is heavily aligned to our industry at LSA, and this allows our students to progress through work experience and mentoring, but also for them to get that engagement with industry. So each week we do screenings, which allows year 12s and year 13s to get that perspective when watching different film and TV shows. So it's well open their horizon, but also being able to see it from a different perspective and exposing them to a wide range of productions. We've got masterclasses. Now, masterclasses is where we get industry professionals to talk about how they got into the industry and what advice they can share. So we were really fortunate enough to do a session with Gillian Anderson, who gave our students with really useful hints and tips. The other day, we had the director of the Harry Potter films, who's worked on Harry Potter 4, 5, 6, and 7, and he was able to talk about his experience and what advice, but also his journey of how he got into the film and TV industry. We had Nina Jacobson in, who's worked on Crazy Rich Asians and Hunger Games, and she was able to give her thoughts on working in the industry. We've also had the likes of Reggie Yates come in and have a tour around LSA, along with other amazing special guests. We've also done a talk with Michael Ward and Kadeem Ramsey as well. And what's great about these masterclasses is that it's created by our students. So they find out that these guests are coming in, and then they will go away and do their research to come up with questions that they want to ask them. So it's very student-led when it comes to our masterclasses, and it's a great way to do peer-to-peer learning. And then also from industry, we also do mentoring. So that's from industry guests. Our students get the opportunity to be matched with an industry professional. So say if a student is interested in the camera department, they have the opportunity to be matched with a camera operator. Or for example, we've had one student that was matched with a costume designer who has worked on many Marvel films. And it's a great way for them to be exposed to industry, to get that advice, but also when it comes to producing their own work, when they have to do their final major project, they can get their insight and advice as well. And for some of our students who had mentoring, it's able to get them some work experience as well after they've left LSA and during LSA time. And I'm now going to go on to work experience, and that's because in year 13, students have the opportunity to do up to 2 weeks worth of work experience in a chosen area. So students are interested in camera, they're doing a technical pathway, they may be able to be in a kit hire facility or be on set and support the production as well. And all students have up to 2 weeks worth of work experience that they can do when they're in year 13. So the curriculum at LSA. So at LSA, the level 3 curriculum, it is project based. That means there are no exams included, and students can train in behind the camera skills through a combination of theory and practice. So that means being in the classroom, but also then being able to put their skills into practice in one of our studio spaces. They'll create a costume if they choose to do the craft pathway, or they get their hands onto kit and do the whole camera lighting and sound as they practice and hone in those skills. So the film and TV learning is spent production development. So all of our students do that, and that's everything in the green bubble. And that's so screenwriting, screen conventions, portfolio development, and careers, where students will be able to develop those skills and those areas, and all students will do that. Then students get to specialize in either a pathway, either craft, technical, and post-production. So when they apply to LSA, you'll have to choose either do craft, technical, or post-production. Now, students are all working towards a UAL level 3 extended diploma, which is equivalent to 3 A levels. So it's equivalent to 3 A levels. All students are doing the UAL level 3 extended diploma. Students can also pick up an additional A level in either maths, English, or they can do EPQ, which is half an A level. Now, progression after LSA can lead to entry-level roles in film and TV, which our alumni have done. We're also going to do the undergraduate degrees at universities where students can continue to do film and TV learning, but we've also gone on to do other stuff such as architecture, philosophy, English. So it's not always limited to film and TV. And it also means that they can go into other professions as well, because they're learning different skill sets and knowledge as well. So from entrepreneurial, working in a team, communication, they're building on those skill sets so they can be applied to other sectors. So just real quick about the pathways now. So we have the technical pathway that involves camera, lighting, and sound. And the aim of that pathway is to feel comfortable with the equipment that's on hand. So students will have the right knowledge and enough knowledge to go out and decide to shoot something because they understand the expertise and how to use it. So we've got the craft pathway, which involves hair and makeup, costume design, and art direction. So students on that pathway will be able to hone those skills. So in hair and makeup, students know how to use prosthetics. Students will learn how to make props, being able to design and create measurements for a prop, as well as doing a set design for it. And then we've also got costume as well. So students will learn how to sew, learn how to pattern match, and learn how to tailor. So that all goes in the craft pathway. So in year 12, students will do roughly 2 hours each in each kind of section. And then in year 13, you get to specialize in that particular area. And then we've got post-production pathway. So the post-production pathway involves animation, editing, and VFX. And during that, students will learn how to hone in those skills in those particular areas. So for level 3, the admission process, all we ask is that students have 5 GCSEs graded 4 to 9. So that's 5 GCSEs graded 4 to 9. And there isn't any specific GCSEs, so you don't have to do an art or media to get in. It could be any GCSEs, but when it comes to the online application, we just want to know your interest and passion in working in film and TV and wanting to study at LSA. We also have a really useful guide as well that students can have a look at beforehand and before submitting their answers. Now, if the application is successful, students will be invited back for a telephone interview where they're interviewed by any member of staff at LSA. And it's a great opportunity for students to shine more and tell them a bit more about themselves and why they would like to study with us. And if the interview and application is successful, students will be able to, they'll get a conditional offer, and then they'll join us for enrollment day. And that's the process. Just to go on about our level 3 progression routes and LSA alumni, so where they've gone to. So we've had one student who has worked on the new Harry Potter studios that's being built and designed for in Japan. We've got one student who's a camera trainee and works on a film called Argyle. We have a couple of students at NBC Universal, sorry. We've had one student who is a camera technician apprentice at Pinewood Studios. And then we've also got one student who's supporting the VFX producer at Fast and Furious. These are just a few examples. We do have many, many more students that have gone on to work in production, which is absolutely amazing and fantastic for us to know that there's a community growing out there once they've left LSA. We're going on, students have decided to go on to university as well to continue their film and TV learning, from doing London magazine journalism, doing digital film production, as mentioned earlier, architecture, communication media studies, English and philosophy, and many, many more students have gone on to go elsewhere. So just real quick, I want to talk about the level 4 course that we have. So if any of you guys are interested in doing film and TV and want to be able to do the level 4 course, then totally the program is designed to making anyone a professional. So level 4 is open for 18 and plus, and it's free for those who are 18 and 19. And essentially the level 4 film production involves basically responding to client briefs, so being critical and working on various different projects, being able to pitch your ideas and briefs to create a film, which will hopefully, what we're hoping to do this year is to get it out into festivals, and students will have their roles that they will pitch for, and that's what they work towards for the whole year when they do the level 4 course. And then we have the level 4 creative enterprise course, and that aims to develop our students to be a better freelancer when working in the industry. So looking at CVs, providing that support. So that's what the level 4 course aims to do. So I thought I'd quickly play a video now about what it's like to study at LSA.
When I was younger, I used to sit down and watch films for hours and hours and hours, but I never really thought that I could get into film because I always felt the film industries was not for people like me and kind of about who you know rather than your talent. But now I feel like because of LSA, this has given me so many more opportunities to get into film.
When I had a visitor come into my secondary school to talk about LSA, I knew it was something I had to try out. And although my parents kind of hesitated, I just went for it anyways. I feel like LSA has given me a guide to how I should start as a young filmmaker. I feel at home here.
Best thing about LSA is I would say that our students are very friendly, they're very positive, they really uplift each other. The teachers are very, very patient. They would really push you to new steps that you never knew you could get to.
I think that comes now to the end of my presentation. And as you can see, yeah, so that comes to the end of my presentation. So you have the chance to see what it was like to be at LSA, being in this thriving community where we get to support each other and give an opportunity for students to be able to tell their story and be able to gain those skills and access into film and TV. So the film and TV industry is growing and will require quite a lot of people to work in the industry, because as constantly there's going to be new content that needs to be made, new scripts that are going to come up, and we need to find ways to build this thriving and growing community.